Welcome back. In this video, I would like to start building the city from scratch. We're not going to build the entire thing in this video, but we're going to get started with some fundamentals that will help you to then build the rest of the city as you like. So let's get rid of the city asset that we have here, and let's go into our environment here. In the prefabs, you will find a bunch of prefabs that we can use. And the one that I'm going to start with is going to be this road asphalt. So let me drag it into my game and let me reset its position. Okay, so now it will be at 0, 0 over here. And this is where my road will be. And I think it's fine, looking good. But now let's make sure that we extend this road so that we have a bigger road piece, so to speak. Therefore, let's drag in another road piece like so. And now you will see that this road piece is at an entirely different position. So let's reset that one as well. And now let's move it around. So we can of course try to position it correctly here at this point, but there might be an overlap and it won't look as good. What we can use, however, is going to be V, and then we can move around with our mouse to find the order. So hold your V key and then you can snap. You see, you snap the edge. Let me do it once again. So here, zooming in, I press V. And then I can snap it, for example, to this corner over here or to that corner over there. And now let me duplicate this asphalt piece. And now move this one with that corner over to the other side here at the top, for example. And now if I'm looking from a different angle, it will be probably a little easier. So like so. Now let me use this one once again. Press the Ctrl W in order to duplicate it. Press this V key and make sure that it's snapped directly towards this edge. Let me duplicate it once again. Hold the V key and, well, maybe not this key corner, but this corner right here. And let me snap it over there. So this is how you can snap your prefabs so that they are going to be at the same levels and that they are fitting perfectly together, because otherwise it would be a pain. We would always have to check what kind of positions do they have and so forth. But this way we can just drag prefabs into our project and position them accordingly. All right, now let's add some more pieces to it. So here, let's look at our street. Let's say we want to use this piece here and we want to add it into our game, but at another side, so something like this here. But then of course I want to make sure that this corner is going to be perfectly snapped in there. All right, there we are. So that worked out flawlessly. Now if we want to use that same piece for the other corners, we have to rotate it first. So let's duplicate this piece here, this outer corner, and let's first of all move it over to this edge here. But now I would like to rotate it, because this doesn't look correct, right? So let me go to the rotate tool here. And here you can use Control for precise snapping. Okay, so hold the Control key and, for example, turn it around by 90 degrees. So there we are. Now let's go back to the movement tool, which is this button here, or the W. So, okay, now we have moved it to that corner. So first of all, move to your rotation tool. In my case, it's the E button. This allows me to rotate, hold the Control key and then rotate while holding. Okay, so let me go back to the movement tool. Let's duplicate this piece. Let's move it over here. And now let's use the V key to make sure that we position the item correctly. And it doesn't seem like it's correct now. Okay, this looks a lot better. And now I just need to rotate it. So in my case, press the E key, hold the Control key, rotate it on the green axis so that it fits your liking. Let me rotate a little further, like so, and it should be good to go. And now the final edge. So let's do that once again. Control W to duplicate, then move it around. You can also hold, by the way, hold the Control key while dragging, and it will also snap. So snap it in correctly, press the E key for rotating, or press this button here at the top. Drag this green circle, drag it a little bit, holding the Control key even further, and until the point where you are happy with the results. So now we have the beginning of our intersection here. Now at this point you might wonder, there's so much stuff already in my hierarchy. Well, that's something that we can fix by creating an empty game object here. So let's create an empty game object. Let's call this one streets here. Streets or roads, something like this. Either way would be fine. And now let's make sure that this piece is reset so that the streets are in the center. And now let's drag all of them in there except for the directional lighting. We don't want it to be there, and of course the main camera neither. And let's drag it into our street. So now we can just close our streets and our hierarchy will still be workable with or viewable properly. Okay, so now let's extend our road a little bit. Therefore, let me, for example, take this road asphalt side piece here. Let me see, is that what I want? Yes, I think this one will be fine. So let me take that. Let me drag it into the game. You see, it's a little off from the rotation perspective. So let me rotate it by 90 degrees, like so. Now let me snap it using the W key, first of all for moving, then holding the V key to now snap it correctly to this corner. Let me see, like this. And then always double check if it is in the right level. So here the Y level should be correct. Otherwise, if it's just a little bit off, you see, then the streets won't be correct. So this looks a little better. All right, now let's go ahead and duplicate this piece. Let's move it over to the other side. Then let's rotate it by 90 degrees. So here, like so. And well, actually 180 degrees, not 90. So like this. Then what we can do is we can take another road piece like this one here. Let's duplicate it and move it over here using the control key while we drag it. This way we are going to snap it. So now what we can do is we can take those three pieces here and we can duplicate them, drag them over holding the control key. So we're snapping them, duplicating once again and dragging, well, duplicating once again and dragging. So this is how we can now create our street pieces, and we could even go ahead, let's say we need more. So let's use all of those here. We could duplicate those, hold the control key and drag it over. So this way we are creating a pretty long street. Okay, now let's just make sure that all of our asphalts are actually part of the street, like so. Okay, so now let's add buildings, and let me see which one looks more like a building. Wall with window, wall B. Well, it doesn't seem like we have a proper building. Let's add this wall garage here. Okay, so let me drag that in there, and now it won't look great because it's not positioned correctly. So first of all, let's press E to rotate it, and then let's rotate it by 90 degrees, like so. Let's make sure that we have the the moving tool, and let's move it over like so. And now let's use the V key in order to snap the corner correctly. Now you see here that it snapped it, but it's not on top of the street, so I'm not super happy with that. So let me snap it again, and maybe even the interior part, like so. Let me snap it like so. All right, this looks a little better. Even though now you might say, let's move it a little further to the left. That could be an option. So here, unfortunately, the snapping tool will not be your friend. So you can, well, you can still snap using the control key, but the V key will not be your friend in this case. Even though, as it seems, they are not entirely the same width here. Maybe they are. Yes, they are. But then you have to be unprecise with your values here. So something like -12 if you do it manually, and the X position seems to be at 7.6, for example, something like that, then it seems to be good. Okay, so either you make sure that the garage is really on top here, or the alternative would of course be that you make sure that the garage is like so. That's fine as well, but then don't forget to also add maybe a garage piece here. So let me snap it over, or I mean street piece, of course, Let me snap it over so that it's underneath here, so that it doesn't look off, because here we wouldn't have anything underneath it. So these are some minor changes that you might have to make after you build your map, let's say with an alpha version of it. All right, and now let's say we want to have this wall painted. Let's drag that in there. Let's use the V key once again, and let's snap it right next to our garage here. And now let's use the wall A with door, this one here. Let me drag it in there. I would like to have the door in front of me, so let me rotate it. Press the E key, rotate by 90 degrees, press the W key, move it with snapping. Make sure that we snap this edge directly, or maybe even the top edge. That seems to be fine, or top corner. So now we have the garage, we have the door. We could even add a window if we wanted to. So let's see if we have a wall with a window. So here, wall A with window. Let's drag that in there. Let's rotate it by 90 degrees. And in my case, I didn't use the control key. This will be better. So now the W key for moving, move it around a little bit. Now look if the edges are correctly connected. There we are. Let's snap it together. Okay, so we have a wall front now, and now you could go ahead, of course, and design your city as ever you like. Maybe you should also add rooftops here. So a wall, roof, either the detailed version or the undetailed version. Let me use the detailed version here. Let's rotate it once again. So here, let's rotate it by 90 degrees like so. And now let me snap it as well. So here, not the rotation snapping, but the movement snapping. So let's use this corner. Let's duplicate this piece. Let's move this over here with the V key pressed, duplicate once again. And now let's use this edge and put it there. And then finally another one, duplicate it. Let's move it over, not with the right one, but with the blue one here, like so. And now let's snap it in correctly, like so. So you see, Unity is really a beast when it comes to helping you with its tools to create this little street here. Now, of course, you have a bunch of other assets that you can use. Fences, you can use the truck here. So let's add the green truck into our game here. So let me put it in like so. It will block the streets, for example. That would be fine. Of course, you can also use it in order to snap it in. So now the wheels will be inside of the ground. So whatever you want. Okay, so that is how you can build the overall level. But now let's look at how we can decorate it correctly. That's what we're going to do in the next video.